Hey everyone, and welcome to Victoria's Cantina, where today we're having a look at the Hasbro, Star Wars, The Black Series, The Mandalorian and Grogu Arvala-7 action figure set. Huge thanks to Hasbro for sending this free product sample my way. I'm excited to get it out of the package and take a look at it. Now, in the US, this is slated to be a Target exclusive that has not quite yet been released. I'm not quite sure when exactly it's supposed to be released, but hopefully sooner rather than later. Especially if I have it here in my hands, and it can't be too long from now, right? Anyway, the packaging, as you can see, is the newer style Black Series, so we have a nice bit of artwork on the side of Mando and Grogu. You can see the mud horn over in the back. The Mandalorian is battle-worn and tight-lipped, a formidable bounty hunter in an increasingly dangerous galaxy who finds a mysterious alien pursued by bounty hunters on behalf of Imperial interests. Alright, let's go ahead and get this set out of the packaging, and when we come back, we'll take a closer look at the figures and also do some comparisons. Alright, so here is the Mandalorian and Grogu Arvala-7 set out of the packaging. Everything you see here is what you get. It's definitely interesting. Basically, recreating the second episode of the show, where he gets covered in mud by the mud horn. He's basically splattered in mud, and that's kind of obvious, right? Let's go ahead and focus first on some of these accessories that we get in this set. So we'll start off with the egg, right? With the egg. Now this is, I guess it's nice that we have this, but it kind of looks like they sculpted it with the intent that you would be able to maybe take it apart, but it does not come apart. Just the way that it's sculpted though, it looks like there's a seam here. And I don't know if they intended for it to be removable at one point and they decided not to, or if it's just how it was made. But it is notable how it looks like that. The egg itself, it looks decent enough. It's basically an egg. It has a bit of weight to it. Color looks right. If we go over to Grogu, well, he comes in his hover pram once again. The figure does come out, and basically when you take him out, what you have is just the figure like this. So if you have any of the other Black Series Grogu figures, you're going to know what to expect here. In fact, this is sculpted the same as the previous Grogu that came with the Black Series Mandalorian with the unmasked helmet, Target exclusive set. Same body, but the head is obviously, he's got the eyes closed. Now, what I wasn't sure about is if they just didn't paint the eyes, and maybe that's why they look closed, but no, they do have eyelids that look to be closed. So they didn't cheap out here. They could have easily just not painted the eyes on this figure. They did sculpt like eyelid slits there that you can see there. He's got a little bit of hair on his head. It's okay. There's not really a whole lot you can do with it. You can turn the hands, you can turn the head, but that's about it. There's really nothing to it. It's a very simplistic accessory. For comparison's sake, here is the Arvala-7 Grogu with the very first Grogu that they did. I think the paint on this one probably looks a little bit better overall. I don't like seeing the hair like this on this one. And again, as you saw, this is a repaint of the previous Mando build-up Black Series pack. So they're still both undersized. I've done the math on them. They are undersized compared to what size they should actually be. But I don't expect at this point that Hasbro is going to go back and retool an all-new Grogu. Would be nice, but I doubt that they are going to do that. Now, the hover pram itself is brand new. We haven't gotten the Season 1 hover pram yet. We did get the Season 2 hover pram, and I'll show that to you in just a second for comparison's sake. This one looks all right. There's not a whole lot to it either. It basically just plugs into this clear stand. Now, the stand itself doesn't work all that great. As you can see, there's a hexagonal shape at the bottom of the pram, but this acrylic stand, basically it's just circular, so it doesn't really like peg in very well. You kind of have to like just twist it till you get it to situate, and even then I've had it fall off already. But the detail inside and overall is pretty nice. So here is the original hover pram that we got. This is based off of the end of Season 1. This is the one that Quill fashioned for Grogu after this one got tossed in the garbage when Mando turned him in for and collected his bounty. So, you know, it's nice to finally have both of them. We still don't have the season 3 version, which is actually more similar to this one here, but with different colors. I don't know if we'll ever get that. Hopefully we do. I think that'd be kind of cool. But of course, it didn't last very far into the season when we did. Now, unfortunately, unlike this one, which you can remove the lid from it and access the insides right there. This one here, and I'm using it for storage. This one here doesn't have the lid, which it would have been nice if it did, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. All right, now let's talk Mando himself. So this is a retool of the very first Mandalorian Hasbro came out with in the fall of 2019. The only thing that's different in terms of the sculpt this time around appears to be his chest armor. As you can see, it's pretty damaged, pretty messed up from the mud horn, and his Beskar armor, or Durasteel more accurately, is just kind of hanging off. And between the Durasteel and that back plate, you can see a little bit of the exposed wiring or tech that's underneath there. It's not very detailed because it's obviously just splattered with brown paint, but that's what they're going for there. The rest of the figure appears to be exactly the same, just covered in muddy paint. Same with the cape. If you look at the back, you can see it does have a little bit of darker splotching on it, which kind of would have been nice to see more of on the figure rather than just giving it this like flat, like one shaded mud color, which they kind of did. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of like, you know, different shades of the mud, different levels of mud, but this side actually doesn't have any mud on it. Interesting. But yeah, you can see it just looks muddy. So, I mean, it's all right. I mean, I feel like this is a very niche sort of release. If you don't already have the other Mandos, I mean, I don't know why you'd want this one instead, but if you're collecting them all, then you're probably going to want this one to have it too. Now, in terms of articulation, I know we've gone over this in previous reviews of this figure, but you do have a nice ball joint under the head. You can see there's actually a head sculpt that was sculpted underneath there. You can see the chin right there. And then that's on a ball peg that then connects into the top of the upper torso. So you get some pretty good movement from there. Of course, it's a little restricted because of the cape here at the shoulders. So you do have insert molded joints. They do tend to hit up here. I'm a little wary of causing damage to the shoulder armor, so I'm not going to really like force it too much. But you can get pretty good angle out of it. It goes better this way. You just go to the back instead. Insert molded joint here at the elbows as well. I feel like I'm going to break this thing. Those joints are pretty stiff. There we go, just like that. As you can see, it gets more than 90 degrees, which is pretty nice. You do have butterfly joints. You do have a ball hinge here at the waist, which gets some really nice movement, not really too restricted by this strap. Here at the hips, you do have ball joints and pretty nice movement. They go forward, they go back a good bit. You do have cuts at the thighs. You have your double bends here at the knees. And then here at the ankles, you do have flex up, flex down, and then your rocker pivot right there. So overall, it is nicely articulated. There's not really a whole lot more they could do to make the figure better in terms of articulation. For weapons and accessories, we do get the blaster pistol. If you've seen this before, you know what to get. You can put it in his holster if you wanted to. Just lift up on the strap and just plug it in. Plug it all the way in like that. Go ahead and close the strap. Once again, I have had issues with these staying in place before. I don't know if it's going to be an issue here. It's kind of hard to get it in. Yeah, it's not really wanting to go in too well. And then, of course, we have the long pulse rifle as well, which is really nice to have. And there's no mud on these weapons. Weapons look great, but there's no mud on them. So very interesting how they look just fine. All right, so here is the money shot right here. Here's all 4 Mandalorians. And no, I'm not counting credit collection, not counting carbonized, none of that nonsense. This is all straight from the Mandalorian series as he appeared on screen. Of course, we have our very first season 1 Mando. We have our later in season 1 Mando. And then we have our even later in season 1 Mando right there with the fish face. And then our latest Arvala-7 Muddy Mando. I like the sound of that, Muddy Mando. And we are also getting the Maldo Crease Mando at some point Not sure when that's going to be shipping, but yeah. Looking at these all together, I mean, you can totally skip this. The only reason to get that is if you're a completist and you want to get the additional Pram. Grogu doesn't really add much. The egg doesn't really add much. And the Mando figure itself really doesn't add much unless you're really adamant on just having every version of the character. I still think the very first one they did is the best. I would probably say that this one right here is maybe second, or even that one's fine as long as you keep his helmet on his head. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Hasbro Star Wars The Black Series, The Mandalorian and Grogu Arvala-7 figure set. Overall, you guys, it's not really essential. This is just kind of a bonus if you're all in on Black Series and you need to have every variation of these figures, then by all means, you'll probably enjoy it. Otherwise, yeah, it's pretty skippable. As just a unique variation of Mandalorian, it's cool, but you're not really getting a whole lot from this set that you don't already have. Yeah, having the hover pram in this incarnation is nice. But other than that, there's just not really a whole lot of value here. There's just really not a whole lot that makes this an essential for any Black Series collection. I'm glad to have it, but I can't absolutely recommend that you pick it up unless, you're really after every version of this character. But nonetheless, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Will you be adding it to your collection? Let me know what you think. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are not already. We got the Cantina Cocktail Hour every Friday. We've got Cantina Chatter Podcast. We got the Vintage Collection Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And you can also follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. As always, thank you for tuning in. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.